The next question, detail a method that helps you save money. So you can say, when you have such a question, you can say what the method is and how you had learned that method, or who had taught you this method, and how effective that method has been, or how it helps you save money. So you can mention all these things when it comes to this particular point. So detail a method that helps you save money. So you can go like this. I am very good in accounts, and saving has been a very integral part of my entire family, and I'm quite used to it from my childhood. So every month, as soon as I get my salary, I make sure I put a certain amount, or I deposit a certain amount in fixed deposit. And with the remaining amount, we take care of our family expenses. And one good habit that I have in me is that I always keep a track on all my expenses. I always carry, or I always preserve the bills and the receipts of the expenses that I had taken, or I had made for that particular month. And I always preserve them until the end of the month. At the end of the month, I calculate and I see, I take the remaining amount and I put it in another fixed deposit. So in this way, I am able to have a regular check on my expenses. And by the end of every month, I always analyze along with my family. We all sit together and analyze whether we could have cut short our expenses, or sometimes if our expenses are actually going overboard. We were able to do that. Okay, so this was a method which was taught to me by my father. So when I was very small, maybe when I was some 7, 8 years old, my father, every month he used to give me rupees 50 as my pocket money. Okay, at the beginning of the month he gives me 50 rupees with one condition. I have all liberty to buy whatever I want. I can do whatever I want with that money, but with one condition. My father always says, provided I have a track on my expense. So I always had this small diary in which I used to make a note of my expenses. So be it candies or chocolates or pencils or whatever I wanted to buy, I always made a note of it in my diary. And by the end of the month, I always ensure I have some amount left. And when I go and report it to my father, when I show it to my father, he gets impressed and he gives me a small reward of appreciation every month. And the remaining amount was carried over to the next month. So this is how my father, because he is a very shrewd investor, so he always imbibed the idea of keeping a track on expenses right from my childhood. We've always been doing that. Okay, so this is the same habit I still carry on, and we as a family, we are still doing it. And every month we are able to do that, and we are being successful in doing that. This has in fact helped us to cut down a lot of unnecessary costs and unnecessary expenses. And sometimes it helps us, sometimes we save more. We find out possible ways to cut down our unnecessary expenses. So this is the method that I had learned to save money. It was taught to me by my father, and I practice it, and I have passed it over to my family also. Let's move on to the follow-up questions now. You can have a question like this. Is it important to save money? I would definitely say yes. Just as the old saying goes, penny saved is a penny earned, right? So every penny that is being saved is a penny that you need not strive hard again to earn. Okay, so especially specifically when we save money, it is going to help us to sail through tough times. When you're fine, you save money, and when you have tough times, it helps us to sail through much easily. And sometimes circumstances might go out of control, especially post-retirement, and sometimes emergency health care issues, sometimes education, sometimes travel, because I am basically a person who loves to travel a lot. So this process of saving money has helped me in a great deal. Let's move on to a next follow-up question. What do you usually save money for? I think I have already answered this question. I just said that I would love to save money because I love to travel to so many different places. One main reason is retirement. Emergency, yes, definitely. Post retirement, I always need to have enough money with me because I am a person who loves to travel, and I have already made a lot of domestic trips along with my family, and I always dream of making a lot of international trips. So many places are there in my wish list where I would like to travel, and I would like to take my family along with me. So for which I think, I personally, I think that is one reason why I want to save money. And I also look for longer holidays with uh, more luxury in life. This is something that I would like to pamper myself with, and also something that I would like to give my family. Okay, so I can answer this question like this. Let's move on to the next question. Describe an instance when you were very close to a wild animal. Okay, so if you are asked such a question, you gotta say what animal that is, how or where you had seen it, how you had encountered the animal, and how you really felt when you had seen the animal. So you can have the answer go like this. So many years ago, when I was a college student, when I was in my second year of college, we had planned for a tour along with my department mates. And we had been to the Kanha National Park. Now, this is a symbiotic relationship park. So you generally find animals in the wild, okay? And you are taken for a safari in the jeep into the forest, right? So on this particular day, morning, we all woke up and we were around some 25 to 30 people. We assembled in 5 jeeps. So our resort was very close to the forest, almost near the entrance of the forest, okay? Verge, or almost near the border, I should say. So around, we were actually assembled in around 5 jeeps, and we were traveling for quite a long time. And we had seen a lot of wild boars and monkeys and exotic birds and deers. But we couldn't find trace of any particular predator, especially a tiger, because this national park is known for tigers. It is a very famous reservoir, tiger reservoir. Okay, so we were very upset and disappointed that we had come all this way and we were not able to find even the slightest trace of a pug. Okay, so the guide was also looking for a pug marks to show us the existence or the movement of the predator around, but he was equally disappointed. So we couldn't find any sort of any predators in our vicinity, and but suddenly after some point of time there was complete silence, and suddenly the monkeys were hooting, the birds were squeaking, and few animals were running here and there, and we could hear all strange noises. Animals were trying to signal another animal of any danger that was coming. So I was also, breathing hardly, because now it was complete silence. And after some time, these monkeys were also jumping from branches to branches, and alerting, the animals were alerting each other. And with a bated breath, when we looked, we saw a majestic tigress standing right in front of our jeep, and it was looking at us. So it was so magnificent, and it was covered. It looked like it was covered by an orange coat. And when it turned and looked at us, we were completely speechless. We ran out of words. We had bated breath, but we had to stay there for quite some time and wait for the tigress to move. Of course, yeah, it did send us a fear, okay, through our spines. But when you know that you are safe enough in a completely covered jeep with a professional or a trained person along with you, fear takes a back seat, and admiring magnificence was more important. And that is one incident that I would never ever forget in my life, and I had never ever come across any wild animal that close in my lifetime. Okay, so this is how I'm going to explain this question, and let's move on to the follow-up questions. My first question goes like this. What is your opinion on hunting? Okay, according to me, hunting is an unjustified act. It's extreme cruelty that we can do. No one has the right to decide the fate of another life in any form of sport. And we human beings, hunt other animals just for sport, just for fun. That completely displays our arrogance and insensitivity towards the other life forms. And we also display that we are not worthy of being at the top of the food chain. And sometimes we do misuse our power by not handling the tools in the right way. We handle them in ways to kill animals and birds without any reason. Now, today there are so many food options. Apart from these sport options, there are so many food options which you can indulge and enjoy without harming anybody. So, killing any animal other than for self-defense is completely an act of unintelligence and cruelty and arrogance. So this is like literally we are spoiling our own ecosystem. Okay, so I can answer this question like that. Move on to the next follow-up question. What can a country do to promote wildlife tourism? The basic thing, the main prerequisite required for any wildlife tourism to flourish is to have enough sanctuaries and safe havens, and especially more of natural habitats for animals. I would personally suggest more of symbiotic relationship between the animals. Animals are at their best, or the most comfortable, or the more comfortable when they are in their own natural habitat. So I strongly believe in that. So what the government can do is we can involve or go ahead with mass, large plantation of trees, and not just stopping with that, but organizing them and taking good care of them and helping them to flourish, and making sure of the organic development of the rivers, ecosystem through natural process. So whatever is happening should happen through a natural process, and then the government should also take necessary actions to protect the forest themselves and the animals. When all those things are done, then the government can promote this international tourism by going ahead with forest safaris and many other things. So first, a natural habitat is important, then the safety of the animals in their own habitat is important. And then we can go ahead with jeep safaris or whatever procedures or whatever activities we can go ahead with. That is, after that procedure, can the government go ahead with promoting the international wildlife tourism, like travel affairs and television ads and magazine ads. So once these things are met out, automatically I feel wildlife tourism will reach its peak irrespective of any country that would like to flourish the same.